Samus tweaked his knee today, so we want to be careful. We're gonna get him checked up with the doctor a little bit later. I think that's it.
With Jake Smith, what was it with him?
Well, his lower leg.
And then with the pads on, what differences do you see in practice today?
Well, you know, I saw a lot of anxious guys wanting to get out there and bump and run into each other. You did feel the energy ramped up. What was really neat about it was we had the 2-minute drill. The referees, went through their mechanics, which I think really helped us. The guys really got into it. That was really neat to see the energy in which they practice with. The thing that you do see some things change, how it affects certain plays. Because when you're not in pads, running's a little bit different. Okay, running the football is a little bit different. When you're not in pads, passing is a little bit different. And so the players have got to adjust to that. They've got to adjust to the play action. Play action sounds different. Play action looks different. That's just the way it is, because without the pads on, things aren't mimicked the right way. So there's a little bit of that the defensive players have to get used to.
Why is that?
Well, because of the action. If it's a running play at the point of attack, it's going to sound different. If it's a play action and you're faking the run, it's not going to have the same sound. And so that plays into it for the players. The defensive guys have to honor that a little bit more. It helps the offense.
Was the plan to get the first teams back out there for another set of 2 minutes, or how did you guys arrive at kind of that decision?
Really? We made a mistake on offense. I wanted to get the first group back out there. I wanted them to get the full feel. We ran, I think we ran 6 plays or 7 plays with the first offense. I wanted to get deep into it. And so after I got the 2s out, I wanted to bring the 1s back out and give them another shot, give them a chance to really work the whole drill. Because the thing about 2 minutes, as competitive as it wants to get, what we don't want is we don't want to miss the opportunity to go through the whole exercise. And that's really what we did, and that's why we did it that way.
And then how do you feel Sam Cosmi's coming along?
Very well.
Look at pads, right?
Yes, he's coming along very well, very nicely. The nice thing for him is who he practices against. He practices against Montez. He practices against Chase. He's practiced against all of our front line guys, and he's holding his own. And that is very, very encouraging, especially now that we have pads on. There were some things that he did that were very good. There are some things that he's got to work on. He's got to understand. But a guy like him, with what he's done to date, has been very, very encouraging for us as far as his opportunity to play for us right away.
Hey Ron, I'm wondering, you're as a coach, are there things that you see from players when you put the pads on that maybe tell you something, a little bit more about how they'll play going forward? Are there things that you see in that regard?
Yes, when you're not in pads, some guys put the pads on, they become more aggressive. They're not afraid to run into people at that point. And it becomes a little bit different. And you see it by how quickly they play, how much faster they play. Other guys put the pads on, and now the consequences are there in terms of contact, and now they overthink it. And so it slows those guys down. And you see that once you get the pads on. It's a whole different game for a lot of guys because of their mentality, how much they'll think, or in some cases, some of them just won't think, they'll just go.
And is that something that you think, like those players, usually sticks with them, or do those players change, as you get more time with them?
I think as they develop, they get used to it. Some guys, it's a natural thing. You put the pads on, and like you watch Jamin, he put the pads on, and he just kept running into people. I mean, that's his mentality. And that's what you're looking for in guys.
Your top 3 interior defensive linemen out. What have you seen from the guys behind him, and Deborah Lawrence and Tim Settle?
It's been good to watch those guys. It really has, because you see the young guys out there, and they're getting a little bit more practice time, a little more reps. You see that they're going against the better offensive linemen in terms of the 1s versus the 2s. So it's good to see Timmy get those kind of opportunities. You see his strengths, they show. His weaknesses become glaring because of who he's going against. And those are things that you can point out to him and he can work on. Devereaux's a big, stout, physical guy, and you watch his stoutness play into it, because going against who he's going against, he's got to play stout, and he does. He does a nice job with it.
You guys announced that 9 Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellows. You have a lot of young coaches on staff. What do your veteran coaches on
Well, I think a big part of it is if you watch them, you know, they talk to them about how they want things done, and then they give the coaches an opportunity to run the drills, to take part of a unit. You know, I don't know if you see it with the offensive line, you see it with the tight ends, you see it with the linebackers, the DBs. You know, I think that's how you develop your young talent coaches, and you create a line of succession. You know, because if we have the kind of success we had last year, and with our coaches, you know, some of our younger coaches that are up and coming are going to get opportunities. You know, and quite honestly, Chris Harris had several opportunities last year as far as interviews go. And so you have to have a succession plan, you know, who's going to replace him, who's going to come in and be that next guy.
Right here, with DeShazer back, just how did he look to you today, and what kind of standing can he have in the safety position? Because it's pretty crowded there.
It is very crowded, but, you know, DeShazer isn't just a good safety, but he's a heck of a special teams player. So it was good to have him out there. He brought energy, and that's what he does for us. He plays at a high tempo, and you see other guys pick up on that as well. So it was good to have DeShazer back.
We've seen a lot of the defensive players fired up, and I'm just kind of curious, like, when it comes to trash talking, how much do you think contributes that to last year, having that success, building that confidence, that sort of thing?
You guys didn't really get to see it, but that's what they did all the time. I mean, and that's innate for every team. It's just in their nature. What I've told some of the other guys that, you know, they see it, they say, guys, remember, it's not important. It really isn't. You know, it's about what you do. So that's kind of how I look at it. It's not that important. If it gets under a guy's skin, that gets me concerned, because now all of a sudden you're out there in the heat of battle and somebody's getting into your head, and it becomes a personal battle as opposed to a team battle. So I mean, that's kind of what happens. I mean, that's them, you know, and so you got to be careful of that fine line as well.
And we've seen Kendall Fuller going in the slot. You mix and match your options there. I know position flex and all that, but is there something you like with Kendall Fuller specifically there in that position?
Not necessarily, because he's a good outside guy as well. But, you know, Kendall does a lot of different things for us, and that's, again, you mentioned it. Position flex is important. And we're really just trying to find out what our best sub package is going to be in terms of who's going to play that nickel position.
We saw De'Ami Brown catch a pass in a 2-minute drill right there. What have you kind of seen from his first 5 practices?
His explosiveness, you know, his ability to get vertical, his ability to get open, especially in you know, on those crossers. He's got a ways to go, but again, that speed is elite, and that speed's going to help us.
I know at the top of training camp you said with Curtis Samuel, you guys as the coaching staff know him, but part of the question is how does he get acclimated with his new teammates? Obviously, he's still not back yet. At what point for you when it comes to the start of the season does it start to be, maybe not concerned, but start to wonder, are we going to get
We're not worried about that, really, honestly. He's a veteran guy. You know, we brought him in for a reason, because of his abilities, what he does, and he'll be fine. I'm not concerned with it right now.
Going back to the trash talk, with Montez, it does seem that he's a little bit louder and more vocal this year, even compared to training camp last year. Is that partly maybe a sign of the growing confidence for him and the success he's had?
It is. I think Montez epitomizes a guy that came in as a rookie, kind of felt his way around, had some success his second season, and really has built that confidence level up. He's got a unique skill set. He and Chase make a terrific tandem for us. But it's really cool to see Montez, you know, the person that he is, the young man that he is, really kind of blossom and grow into his own. You know, I think that's a really neat thing, because, you know, he's a guy that I think the sky can be the limit in terms of who he can be for us as a football player and a young man at that point.
Just gonna ask about your backs. The 3 that were here last year, Gibson, McKissick, Peyton Barber. Do they look more comfortable this year to you, just in the system?
They do. I also think the coaches are much more comfortable with them too, in terms of, you know, when to use them, how to use them, what plays benefit, you know, their skill sets. That's another part of it too, Nikki. I think knowing that we have a good feel for these guys and for what they're doing and how they can do it.